Hey, yo, what's up? So, today I wanted to talk about strategies I use to avoid interacting with people, mostly with women, right? So, I think the biggest one that I don't know if a lot of people do it, right? Since everyone pretty much has a phone, right? It's almost assumed that you have a smartphone, right? So, whenever I pass by a girl, right, I will always just pull out my phone, like in advance, pull it out, and start fake texting, fake scrolling, doing whatever on it, right? Just putting in, the passcode to unlock the
At
phone,
the light,
right?
turn left onto North McClintock Drive.
Just doing stuff like that, right? That's I just preemptively, pull out the phone and do that because, why not? It's like take advantage of the situation to,
In about
not
1
have to
mile,
interact
turn
with
right
women,
to merge
right?
onto State Route 202
And avoid, avoid interacting with women, because let's be honest, that's giving me a bit too much credit. More so, just avoid having to, avoid having that one like awkward. It's like, oh, I have to look up, and there's potential that, oh, I may be looking at you, and if I look at you, you might think I'm checking you out, right? And then, or objectifying you or whatever, right? And so, to avoid being creep shamed, right? Because that's one of the biggest things that I kind of work to avoid, right? Just avoid being creep shamed, and avoid making women uncomfortable, because my existence will kind of make them uncomfortable to some extent, right? That much is that it's unavoidable, right? It'll happen, right? But it'll happen to like some degree unfairly, right? Because I didn't decide, my genetics, right? I don't decide. It's like, yeah, I want to have, certain features that make women uncomfortable because they don't find them aesthetically appealing, right? I don't get to choose that, right? But it is what it is. It happens. So what I just pull out the phone and fake text, fake scroll, just do something, right? And I'm always always have my eyes up and being aware of my surroundings to know, do I need to pull out the phone and pretend to do something? So if a woman's gonna pass me, right? Like maybe with the guy it doesn't really matter, right? I can just look up and maintain a forward gaze, right? Like just keep on looking straight ahead. But with women, I feel it's a definite. It definitely is something that you need to do to avoid being creep shamed. If you know for sure that you're an undesirable guy, there's really no reason to not do that, or to have some kind of escape plan, basically, right? A get out of jail card. Like you can just say, oh, I'm not looking at you. I'm looking at my phone, right? You're the crazy one, right? You're the one that's paranoid, right? No, realistically, you're the one that's paranoid, right? Because that's why, or like, I am. That's why I have the phone, and, I've devised different strategies to basically, to cope with this situation. That's the biggest one. And I've done this since, basically since college, because at that point is when I had, my own smartphone, and at that point you just pass by a lot of women, right? That's just what that happens when you go to college and you walk from class to class. There's a lot of girls on campus, and you just have to find some way to avoid looking at them, right? Or avoid making it so giving them the impression that you might be looking at them, right? Because it's not. I'm sure they wouldn't even really take it as a compliment, right? If an undesirable guy were to like look at them and desire them, you may think, oh yeah, it's a free compliment, right? But it really doesn't mean much if it's an undesirable guy, and that's the case for me. So yeah, that's a big one. And back then it was just a lot of Pokemon Go on campus, so very easy to have an excuse of what to do. And I would always use that excuse, and it's pretty legit, right? It's like, and you also kind of, to some extent, fraud that you're a normie, right? Because you'll be, what is it called? You'll be able to fraud that, you're just like texting your friend or something, or texting someone or if worst comes to worst, right? Just fraud that, and it's a get out of jail card kind of for free too. So even though, like I said, people can kind of tell that you're kind of a social reject, by just looking at you, right? Someone will be able to tell me, right? A girl will be able to tell it just by looking at me. It's like, hey, this guy is undesirable, right? I know he doesn't get girls because, I can look at him and I know I'm not attracted to him. So, I know with good, good reason that no other girls are going to be attracted to him, right? It just makes sense, right? Kind of like you as a guy can look at another girl and you can tell, yeah, I don't find her attractive, and I can definitely tell other guys probably won't, right? Because you can just tell by looking at certain features of someone, right? And yeah, it is what it is, right? The other strategy, it's just really just looking at a rock, right? Honestly, just looking at a rock or looking at some obscure whatever in the background. I'll just look at that and, I'll just pretend that it's the most interesting thing in the world, right? I'll just look at it and, pretend it's the most interesting thing in the world, and just use that as a, just kind of just stare at it, right? Like, I just stare at anything else, right? Even if it's like a rock on the ground, a blade of grass, right? It's like, suddenly, oh, girl's approaching from the opposite direction. Suddenly, that blade of grass over there looks very interesting, right? That I don't know, that rock, the paint on this building, very very interesting. Little things like that, right? And yeah, I mean, that's another decent one. I don't think that one is as effective as the phone, right? Because with the phone, like I said, you can at least fraud that you're a normie to some extent, right? You can pretend. But with this, it's like maybe it's a bit too obvious to if if the woman is aware of undesirable male coping strategies. That, oh yeah, he's just looking at something else to avoid contact with me, right? But that's a good one. I mean, if there's like girls all around you and you can't afford to like just look at whatever, it's I don't know, the paint, a rock, a blade of grass. If you can't look at your phone for some reason, right? Then the best thing is, just blank stare ahead, right? And don't make eye contact with any women, right? That's another one. Sometimes when it's just too much work, I guess, to take out your phone, like, oh, I didn't expect a woman to be here. It's like, let's just not even make eye contact and just pretend she's not there, right? Kind of how like women act when they approach, or they have an undesirable guy, unattractive guy, in their presence, right? If he's coming towards them, they do that. I do the same thing as a way to avoid contact with them. But honestly, like I said, the phone thing is the best one. It reminds me of the time I went Black Friday shopping with my family, and I ended up having to just wait outside because it's like I didn't feel comfortable just going inside the store with my family, because it was just too normy, too crowded, not that I have claustrophobia, but it's just too many normies, right? It's like Black Friday shopping in a mall is not something that it's just too over I wouldn't say overstimulating, right? Because it's really not. It's just too anxiety inducing because there's too many normal people around, right? And all these people, you just can't relate to them because they have normal human experiences and you don't, right? Odds are a lot of them, they're shopping with other friends and family, right? But I technically am too, but I'm not doing anything. I'm just following around. I'm basically third wheeling, basically. But for with other people, and that's probably one of the worst feelings ever, right? Because it just makes you feel, and it makes you feel like you're an outcast because you basically are an outcast there, right? And yeah, I guess in that case though, one of the better strategies in that case is just hiding in a bathroom, because the whole stereotype of the nerd hides in the bathroom during lunch because he has no friends. Because I used to do that during high school, when the library was closed, so I couldn't go anywhere, and if I had to sit outside and eat lunch by myself, yeah, I would just go sit in a bathroom stall and just sit there, because this was even before smartphones, so I would just have to sit there and think and do nothing, right? And then try to waste as much time as I can, because it's like, what else am I gonna do, right? I can't do anything else. And lunch is mandatory, and there's no place to there's no place for guys who have no one to hang out with, right? An undesirable social reject. Where's there's no safe space for them, right? And there never will be, because like, honestly, society doesn't really care about you, right? That's the honest to God truth. If they did care, there would be some kind of space like that, right? But there isn't, because no one truly cares, right? You have to watch for people's actions, not what they say. People will say they care, but when push comes to shove, is there a safe space? Is there a way to actually to do anything about that? No, right? If anything, you have to avoid other people, because some people will come up to you and like try to almost poke fun. It's like, why are you sitting by yourself, bro? What is it? Where are your friends, bro? Like, asking all these like questions is a way almost to tease you, right? And there's nothing you can do about it, right? It's like, people like to, people say don't kick someone when they're down, but honestly, a lot of people do enjoy kicking others when they're down, right? That's why people come to the videos like this and they try to give advice, right? They try to give advice in a condescending way to make themselves feel better. They can say it's not condescending, bro, whatever, just tough love, bro. But no, to be honest, no one is asking for advice, right? I'm just here to recount life experiences. I'm not here looking for advice or anything, right? But people will still give unsolicited advice, because it's almost a way to make themselves feel better. It's like, oh, I'm in a better position than you, let me tell you what to do. They want to, like I said, feel better, moral superiority over an undesirable male. And yeah, it is what it is. They just want to kick you down to make them kick someone down to make you even lower than you already are, so they are higher by proxy or whatever, right? It's just the way it is. And let's see, other strategies, right, to avoid women. We almost got off that topic. Well, it's not really, but those are really the main ones, right? Just have a good hiding place, right? Honestly, if worst comes to worst, you need a good hiding place to avoid women, and avoid people in general, right? From like an escape a room or something like that, right? Because if you're home or wherever you are that you live, you can kind of just escape to your room or whatever, right? Your little neckbeard nest to escape. But if you're outside, really, the bathroom is really the only private place where you can go, right? But the problem with the Black Friday shopping in the mall is that the bathroom was very busy and there's a line. And there's a lot of people going in there, so it's like, you don't want to be in there forever, because then it just almost looks suspicious, right? When someone else goes in there and you're still in there, and someone may just knock at the door or try to open the door or something, right? And you're not even taking a dump or anything. You're just sitting or standing there to waste time, right? Because what else are you gonna do? Just stand out there and just stand there and be an NPC? It's like, I already know I'm an NPC, but you don't want to. No one wants to like actually go out there and look like an NPC and take away the all doubts that, hey, you are an NPC, right? They want to fraud that they're normies if they're NPCs, right? So that's the other strategy. And what is it? I don't know. I mean, sometimes you just gotta, like, there is nothing to do, right? Sometimes it's so fucking awkward though, where it's like I really have my hands full at the grocery store in line, and you feel like there's a woman just constantly looking back, right? Like looking around, like paranoid looking, not like, oh bro, she's checking you out, bro. No, it's like when you can tell that it's like nervous, paranoid body language like that, and you're just trying to like read the back of your groceries or whatever to look like you're busy, not like noticing that someone's like all weird and stuff, but you can still tell, right? It's like stuff like that, it's brutal, right? And people say, oh bro, you're thinking you're reading too much into it, but it's like, come on. You can definitely read other people's body language, right? And you can tell when someone else is uncomfortable, and you can tell that they're uncomfortable because of you, even though you're just standing in line minding your business, reading the back of your groceries or doing whatever, right? Finding your way to just kind of just be in your own little world and ignore the outside. But there's always a way, right? There's always something, right? There's always something that is gonna cause an issue. And yeah, they'll find a way. I mean, because at the end of the day, it's like your mere existence is just gonna make them uncomfortable. And if your mere existence makes them uncomfortable, what can you do then, right? You can't do. What are you gonna do? Just stop existing, bro? Stop existing. It's like that's not possible, right? you just can't stop existing, because even if you did stop existing, right, then if you do something, then someone's gotta it's like even then, right, it's like, unfortunately for them, you have the right also just to exist and just be in that situation, right? Just because it makes them uncomfortable, right? It's like, it sucks, but it is what it is, right? So they just gotta suck it up. And and I'm just talking to talk now, so I guess that's it. TLDR, use your phone or hide in the bathroom if you're in a place with a lot of people, and you gotta avoid them because your existence is making them uncomfortable. So yeah, that's kind of it for now. So later.